Hey, it's Tauri, and welcome back to my channel. Vexed has dropped another single from their album. The single is called It's Not the End. Now I do want to read a little bit of what Megan has put in the description of this song. She said, "How do you carry on living when someone you love dies? The grieving process knows no concept of time, and death becomes the sole point of reference to navigate life. It's Not the End pays tribute to those we have deeply loved and lost, while also acknowledging the pain and loneliness that accompany those beautiful memories." Now this is very, very fresh for me. You guys know I lost my grandmother just a couple of days before Christmas, and I had to fly back to England for her funeral in January. So I'm still processing, still going through that grieving process. Obviously some days are better than others. She was my last surviving grandmother. She was always there ever since I was a baby up until I moved away, and then obviously contact became a little bit difficult because she was obviously older and technology, and you know, I tried the best I could. And then at the end, she wasn't herself. She ended up having dementia and Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. She was going blind. So the last 3 years were, you know, I think my dad was her carer for a while, and until they had to make the decision to put her into full-time care. He sort of came to the realization that the woman she was no longer there, and that he'd lost his mother already. And you know, it's hard because you're grieving somebody who's still alive, yet they're no longer with us anymore because of these horrible diseases that run rampant through the body. So I am not really prepared for this. I know I am going to be an emotional mess. So yeah, without further ado, let's just dive right in and check this song out together. It's like the home I grew up in. And it's weird now because my grandma's house has been sold because she no longer needed it. She had to be put into care, and to afford that care, they obviously had to sell the house. And that house is the house she bought when she got married. And it's been in our family all of these years, but nobody in our family needed it, and it needed a fresh family, a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh heart to take care of it. It needed a lot of updating, but gosh, Megan's cleans are absolutely stunning, and then that emotion behind her harshes, I'm sorry. I've never felt more alone. It's not the home that I grew up in. What I give just to No amount of blood can measure the amount of undying love I have for you. I feel that so hard. What I love about this song is the different variations of vocals that Megan is doing. You know, she's doing those pure, beautiful cleans. And then she's doing her really harsh vocals. And then, of course, the chorus is like a good mixture of cleans, but they're still... well, they're not exactly clean. You guys know what I'm saying with this. My mind just can't focus on this right now. But this video is absolutely beautiful too. I'm loving the home family footage of her grandfather, I am assuming. This is so fresh for me. How do we even wrap up from that? I don't know if Anthony was her grandfather or her dad, but thank you, Megan, for being so raw and being so vulnerable and writing this song for those of us. I mean, it's a part of life, isn't it? Death. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. No matter how much we don't want it to happen, it's coming. And like I said in my intro, this is very fresh for me. My grandma, on my dad's side, passed away a few days before Christmas, and just this whole song spoke to everything I experienced during that. The fact that she passed away surrounded by her children, and how it happened was they were all having a laugh and a joke and talking about memories, and my uncle turned around and was like, oh, she's gone. And I think she waited until they were all there. And a couple of days before, my sister and I, because we don't live in England anymore, we had to call from our countries and tell her goodbye on the phone. A goodbye without saying goodbye. And it's so hard, and it's, what do you say? And then I don't know if anybody's watched my video about coming back to doing reactions. But during the funeral, something very weird happened. And I wasn't the only one to experience it. Like, I thought I was, but my sister told me a couple of days later that she also experienced the same thing. In a conversation we were just so happening to have with my mum about paranormal stuff. But my aunt, one of my aunts, my dad is one of 5. I have 3 aunts and an uncle. And so my youngest aunt was doing the eulogy, and she got up, and as she walked by the coffin to go up to the church stand, whatever the hell it's called, I don't know. But as she went up to go give the eulogy, she walked by the coffin and like stroked it as a hello on the way up there. And I was sat maybe 3rd row in the pews from the front. My brother was next to me, my sister, my dad's partner, and my dad. I don't like saying girlfriend, I think it's too young for somebody of my dad's age. But I wasn't crying. I'd already done a lot of my crying before flying over, and I even cried boarding the plane because that reality setting that this was real. And so on the day of the funeral, I really didn't cry. I almost, as they were walking the coffin down to the front of the church, like a few tears came out, but other than that, I didn't really cry. So that can't be why my eyes weren't working properly. But so yeah, she went up to do the eulogy, and as she was talking, my eyes, like I was watching her, and as I was looking at my aunt, this like white smoky mist came up in front of her, like from the coffin. And I was like my eyes aren't focusing properly, something's going on. So I looked away and they were fine, and I looked back and it was still there. And I did that a couple of times, and then as soon as she was done, it went away. And as she came back to sit down, she again stroked the coffin as a goodbye. So a few days later, we were talking about paranormal stuff, and I told my mum what happened. And then my sister said, oh, that happened to me too. I saw that as well. So I really don't ever experience a lot of paranormal, unexplainable things. I tend to close myself off to that stuff because death is my biggest fear. It has been since I was a child. And not because we die. That's coming. I can't stop that unless I become a billionaire and try and figure out a way, but that's never going to happen. So it's just, they're not knowing what's coming. Nobody ever comes back and nobody ever tells us, and those that have been pronounced dead for maybe 10, 15 minutes have different variations of what's happening, and we just don't know if that's our minds, because obviously there is still that electricity and everything going through our bodies as we pass away. So nothing's been proven as to where we go. Do we stay? Do we move on to a different plane of existence? Are we reincarnated years later? Do we just end? I don't know, and it scares me, just that unknown. And so yeah, I just Vexed, Megan, this was absolutely beautifully done. And I've been okay up until now. I haven't really needed to cry, but I guess I needed that. And I think that's the most raw I have ever been on my channel. In terms of crying, yes, I've cried to a few songs here and there. Whenever I go into a reaction, it takes all of me, all of my energy, all of my emotion. That's what music means to me. And that's what music meant to my grandmother as well. Yeah, she was a piano teacher, and all those lives she affected. So I'm sorry for the sniveling and the sniffing. I'm gonna end this now because it's been 20 minutes of me just rambling. But thank you. I also had the chance to talk to Megan about the album Negative Energy, which is out now. I will leave that linked in the description if you guys want to check that out. But I'm not even going to sign off how I would normally sign off. I think I'm going to do a little tribute of my own to my grandmother. So thank you guys for watching and for supporting and for being here for me through this difficult time. I love you all.